Yeah, yeah. My face isn't as swollen. It the last chemo treatment. I should say hi, this is Ron. Welcome to my channel. If you're just tuning in, I'm facing my first cancer. I don't know if there's many more to come, but it's small cell carcinoma of the lung, so it came on real fast. Anyways, the second chemo treatment that I just went through, and is it the second? No, it's the third. First one was in the hospital, and then I had one at their facility, and that was 21 days ago or so, yeah, about 25 days ago, was the second treatment. That that immunization, that um, immunotherapy shot that they give me that made my hair fall out, uh, that only it threw me for about 3 days last time. So, I mean, maybe 2 days, 3 days. And so, they recommend that you take Claritin to prepare for the symptoms. So this time, when they were pumping me up with the pre-meds, I was complaining that my legs were swollen. That all my legs were it's like completely swollen. Like I couldn't see any tendons on my toes, my foot, my ankle. You couldn't see the ankle anymore. And the nurse said, "Oh, honey, don't worry about that. We're pumping you full of fluids. We're doing that." And this is so that when we give you your treatment with the immunotherapy, that you're able, and you're done with the chemo, that you're able to flush out. Yeah, you need to flush out. So, oh, well, you saw how puffy I was in the last video. Yeah, that was pretty bad. And it was just right after that. So, yeah, it took about 5 days for me to recover. And yesterday I did get first work done, first activities, where I was just busy, busy, busy. And then, of course, today I'm worn out. So today I slept this afternoon, which is unusual. I, I needed it. Yeah, I needed it, even though I slept last night. So I don't know. I'll be up all night. I don't know. Maybe I'll make videos. So at any rate, my next scheduled chemo is in, less than 5 days after the so about 17 days. I'll have to start it all over again. They'll pump me full of fluids, and then I don't know if the shot's going to be worse this time. Because the last time was 3 days, this one was 5. It's going to get longer and longer and longer to get over it. I don't like that. But hopefully, we'll get some good news. So, anyways, I stayed inside all day, took a nap. I didn't really waste much time out in the yard because I had yesterday, especially. And it's nice. It's nice to be out there, and it's so occupying for me, because there's so much to do. But yeah, I cleaned out another tree, and I exposed all the dwarf ruella that I had divided and planted where Redmond was buried. And I think that's why that tree was having difficulty getting started, because it was the leaf structure was about that thick around its base. So its feet were still in a winter mode. So now I cleaned all that out. We'll have a little bit more warmth penetration. Yeah. So, do you remember back when Maxwell, the black and white cat, was intact? He's not intact anymore. He's been clipped. That he swooned the neighbor's cat here in the backyard, and then she subsequently had kittens. And at the time, Redmond was just being diagnosed, and we thought maybe he needs a friend. And her son proposed $1,000 for her, for the kitten, like shake down the neighbor. Well, I just said, keep the cat. Good luck selling it for $1,000. So I never made mention of it again. And I noticed that she let the kids just run wild. So maybe they still live with her and they just run out in the neighborhood. But Mama Cat came around and she's all pumped up again. So she's got another boyfriend. Can't be Maxwell. And but Maxwell's watching over her like he's the boyfriend. And she took over the garage office. So I have some old pants and stuff there. And she's made a little nest, and so I don't know if she even goes home. I mean, those people don't even worry about their cat. I mean, your cat disappeared. She's living in my garage, and she's expecting. Yeah, so she's gonna have kittens in my garage. Now she may just have them in the garage, keep them for a couple days here until she gets to move them, and then she'll move them back home where it's safe. Because otherwise, there's that issue where a male cat will kill another male cat's kittens. I don't know how they deal with that. Must be a whole farm code mechanism that deals with cats in that capacity. But I think that with Maxwell, since he recognizes her as his girlfriend, and that he's done the deed, that these are his, he might just assume they're his. And plus, besides, he's clipped now. But all the cats here are males. Yeah, they're all males. There's two females. There's two stripy females, and they're sisters, and one is friendly and one is not. But they look identical, so it's hard to tell. One is called Sissy, and the other one is what was that I call the other one? I forget. Forget. Anyways, I try not to get too involved with all the cats. They've certainly moved in, and I don't have any more mice. You know, they're all gone. There hasn't been any sign for mice in them for miles. That's good. Yeah. It took so long. I mean, back when Levette visited in 2015, was it? Yeah. Suddenly my house just swarmed with mice. Yeah. And I've had a problem ever since until now. Thank God. God, New Mexico is so bad. I remember when they were doing the streets and they were doing sewage lines. That's when there was a big explosion of mice and more cats. They were probably living in the streets, actually in the streets. Now they've got new covers, so nothing can get down in them. Yeah, there's new drainage in the center of the street, crossing the street. They did it different this time. Probably because of what takes refuge in the sewers. Lord knows. So, anyways, just wanted to check. I don't just want to touch base and let you know that I survived and now I feel normal. And yeah, they had recommended that I get off the coughing medication, and I didn't like that at all. You know, I went back on it because I don't like to cough. Mm, I don't care. Maybe they want me to cough something up. Maybe they want me to agitate it. I don't think so. It's because I have a constant sore throat, but I know what it is. It's when they cut across here to take the lymph node out, and they cut the nerve ending. The nerve ending is actually stretched up here and across here. And so that sore throat is an illusion of a sore throat. It's just like my shoulder is an illusion of a sunburn, an illusion of being numb, you know, numb to sore, numb to pain, but it's not pain, it's sore. Uh, That's what my shoulder is, constant. So the gabapentin is supposed to help that nerve situation, and it does. Yeah, there's times when I don't even notice it, and I'm busy, and it just falls out of my head. But yeah, when it's touched, like right now, when I'm touching it, why am I touching? Because it hurts. But otherwise, no one knows that that I'm suffering all the way up like that. And I'm lucky I don't have facial paralysis from it. Um, I'm sure if it had been on this side, it would have gone that way instead of this way. Yeah. So you can't even see. I don't think you can even see the scar anymore. It's hardly showing at all. Yeah, a dissection. They took out all the lymph. But good for them. That's how they were able to diagnose. They had this concoction that I had the rarest form of cancer, and that it was it's gonna be suck me into the void. I mean, I was in tears. I was like, oh no. But and that they'd have to send me out of city, yeah, in order to treat because it was too rare. No, and it's just my body lies. It hides and lies. I don't know why. So finally they had to redo, they had taken 4 biopsies. They took 6 cores, and this thing was swelled up. And finally, the other hospital said, no, it doesn't tell us anything. So they took the whole thing out. And then they were able to re-dye it, whatever they do to test it. And there it was, small cell carcinoma, stage 2, early, 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 whirly, whirly. So, anyways, that's not important. The important thing is to get through this, killing the patient to cure the disease. I think so. Yeah. So today's date, um, it's already the 24th, isn't it? Yesterday was the full moon. Yeah, that was pretty neat. Yeah, yesterday was the 23rd, so it was the pink full moon in Scorpio. I was like, whoa, I can relate to that. I'm a Scorpio. And for it to be Passover. And what was their oh, and then I guess they were going to sacrifice the red heifers. The red heifers. It sounds like some big old fat red women. They were going to sacrifice those red heifers in Israel, in the false state of Israel. Yeah, in the false state. I can say that because they're not part of us, U.S. They're not. No, but yet everybody that's giving them money has dual citizenship. So I'd say that there's a conflict of interest because I don't participate in that. They are a false state. And they are going to sacrifice the red heifers upon the Mount of Olives. And yeah, so then with that in with that in mind, it's so that they can build the third temple. Well, I am the third temple of my father. Yeah, I'm the third child of my father's. Uh-huh. The Scorpio and the pink. I was like, let's go for it. But of course, I just had a good night's sleep. That's all. And I do believe that the sun is about ready to take on a micronova event, just as Suspicious Observers describes. But on a spiritual level, I see it so differently as that being as a result of the millstone striking the foot, bringing down that statue, which is ego within. Yeah, why? Because the sun has a micronova and it strikes the earth. And we all get real humbled real fast. So the ego is let go, the soul body, from the soul to the soul. Yeah. and to heal, and that there would be angels to lift those so as not to dash their heels. They're described as having wings and feathers. Yeah. I'm thinking of Psalms 91. Isn't it Psalms 91? Yeah. Anyways, knowing of the fowls of heaven and knowing of the Anunnaki as the fallen, as the Anasazi, as what is described through the Mayan or the Aztec. I'd say Aztec, I don't know if it's Mayan, but Quetzalcoatl. Yeah, so we know that they're winged serpents as they are raptors. Yeah, and they're described their in the reliefs, the carvings of Sumeria. So we have a general idea. And then, of course, upon all the little figures that we see on the canyon walls across the Midwest. Yeah, it's those natives hid themselves. Mhm. From the flesh eaters. So the fowls of heaven do come. And so it's told to us, but if no one wants to recognize that portion of it, who are they? Well, I think they're the fallen. Yeah, the dragon cast a third of his tail. Those stars fall. And so they come here because they're hungry. They're starving. They're probably naked in their ways. Yeah, they're homeless. They're the destitute. Probably see them everywhere. Yeah, especially in California. Looking at the cats looking out the door. There's a lot of sirens today. I noticed that. So today, anyways, beyond that pink full moon, today's the 24th. So we have the 4, which is a door, on time. So it's a door of time. It's time that the door be knocked upon. It creates the 3, which is the 12. The 3 is the investment, so it's an investment of time. So it's a door that has been invested upon in its wholeness that places itself upon the day. And yeah, that 3 upon 6 makes a 9, the spirit. So there's an investment of time beyond the door's spirit. That's the investment. Yeah. Yeah, we invested in the spirit. I see so many videos that they say that they spoke to the Lord. The Lord said to them, well, don't you have a hotline to hell? Who are you speaking to? I don't think you're speaking to the Lord. The Lord can speak to the world, but where is he? And we have to look at history and know that we've taken a Strong's delusion. Yeah, the history is not his story. No, it's wrong. It's all make believe. Through faith, through grace, which is upon the table. Yeah, blessings unto God. Yeah, but it was a means to what? Make themselves royal. I mean, look at the Vatican, look at all those priests, look at the way they live. They live in huge mansions. When you look in the past, you see it. And yet, when you look in the past, you see what they did to people, what they did to nations, and how many babies they've actually murdered. Yeah. And how many families they destroyed. And how many widows they crooned over just to steal their fortunes. To become what? one of the richest entities in the world. The other one being the crown. Should have been the queen, but she's gone now. So it's Charo. But I don't think he has the capacity that the queen had at rendering, because I think there was a redistribution, and now they have to rebuild. Yeah, I think that's how it works. There's probably a lot of sales going on, a lot of royal sales going on. I don't know. You do realize that a lot of the CEOs of these big billionaire operations are all cashing out, right? They cashed out. They're cashing out as fast as they can, selling shares and building bunkers. But what I believe is that within the capacity of the six, which is man, six is the fertility of man. Um, and we know that Adam was given 120 Jubilee years, which equates to 6,000 years. And given the 5784, we're too soon. We're too soon for the destruction that everybody is, judgment that everybody's accounting for. Now, this isn't the kind of judgment that you would understand unless you're one of the 144,000 you sons of God, because it's they who take in that judgment. It's they who accept. Yeah, it's they who are lifted halfway and given their upgrade. So you think about a CME sort of micro environment, micro nova environment upon the Earth in particular places that equally our DNA is receiving the RNA of the soul body. So the RNA is the messenger sent, which changes all cells. It remaps, it redefines the cell itself. And so the cell takes that RNA and recreates itself, defends itself. This is why we see what I call creation. Creation is an instant creation. That's when an animal just appears out of nowhere. Well, what happened? Was it a chicken or an egg? Which came first? No, it's instant creation through thought. Well, through the soul body, through that kind of energy, mere thought alone creates. And that's why we have such a myriad of display of animals, is because it's happened before and before and before. And when we look into the fossil record, yeah, we see the great lizard. Yeah, we see the great lizard, the terrible lizard, certainly. And now they're bird, transformed, and were, but the creation of in memory. Yeah, we were made in their image. So it's by images as memory. It's thought. So thought alone. Yeah. Thought creates the intent. So upon the sixth of the day, the spirit itself can reveal it, can reveal that we're being transformed. Now, in my case, you can say, well, you're dying, you're in death, of course you're transforming. But I'm not. No, I'm just being chemical. And everything that we're seeing so far is a reduction of growth. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, so we're looking better. And we'll know more in 21 days or 17 days when the next round is. It's just that getting over that immunotherapy portion is too much. I say to myself that I'll be more prepared each time, to flush out. And I did. I thought I was. I thought I had it under control, but that was terrible. And you just kind of, you just walk through it until you get better. Still start feeling better. And the funny thing about feeling better is that you forget how bad you felt. Once you feel better, it's like, oh, okay. That's like someone says, can you describe, all the complaints you had prior to finding out your diagnosis? Well, it was AI assisted. I told you that by videos were being thrown forward, telling me about lymphoma, and well, that's what I thought it was, and that's what they were focused on. When in fact it was small cell. So we were looking. They had to do other tests in order to find that. I guess you'd think they would have done a broad spectrum, but it took a little bit of a minute. But then it was done. Finally got a bill from the other hospital in El Paso, which is kind of strange. It's $1,800. That makes no sense. And they're claiming that my insurance is uh, void. I don't have insurance. So they want me to contact, and I'm like, no, 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 no. They want me to do their legwork for what? This extra 1,800 that they're missing out on that they can't code proper? That's not right. Because I was ICU for 2 days, and then I was additional 5 days. I was in regular unit and strict bed. So that's a lot of work for everybody that's working around me. $1,800, that's the total bill? No, that's not it. So was this curbside service? I couldn't touch it. I don't know what they're talking about. I ignore it. Sorry. It can go in the drawer. You can contact me later. I'm not doing your legwork. Now, why the SSA hasn't contacted me since I contacted them and they set up a file online or on the phone with me because the online wouldn't work. But they're relying everything on online. It has to be put online. But that's why I had an operator because it wouldn't work. And they still haven't contacted me. But that's the way they are. Oh, well, because I do need to bring in some sort of income, some sort of help to offset, the burden that I've placed on the house. It's just ridiculous. The burden I'm placing on any direction I go. Sure. And I know that from April to May, it's going to offer big change. We could talk about that. As four as a door, that's April, and always will be. And it could be a rumor. There's doors and rumors of doors because there's wars and rumors of wars. So it's the same thing. That it should be knocked upon, you would know, or that you were knocking, that you should know. But, anyways, the five that comes up in May, five is about death and freedom. It's the rule breaker. Yeah. And so, in the capacity, you would have to recognize the difference between the right or the left, whether it's understanding of the gold of the right hand or the wisdom of the left hand. Yeah, because they're separate. And the left hand has to do with the past, whereas the right hand has to do with the present. But the present must open. You have to open the present in order to receive the gift. And in doing so, then what you're presented with is the future. So there's a difference. And yet it's understanding. So it's standing under that which is giving. Yeah, yeah. It has to give through the past. So the right and left hand must come together. Yeah, in prayer. That's what will bring it together, fullness. So uh, that rule breaker upon time, or death upon time, or freedom upon time, because it's all the same thing. So, and it's not so much that it's your own personal rules that you're breaking. No, because you don't want to break your own rules. You're 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 affirmed in that which you have received to believe in. Yeah, so it's your own rule. You're not going to break your own rule. No, it's all other rules, rules that do not apply. Yeah, and so the 5 upon the 8, that's the 13. That's kind of nefarious in its own right, given the fact that we understand that we're in tribulation. So the whole mechanism of chapter 13 is going to have to play itself out, even though I say it's done. It's done. It's through the eyes of the Pharisee that we should see chapter 15, that we should recognize Yeshua and his movement and the mighty headwind, and then the second beast that came up from the earth, because the earth is considered the beast. So it's Judaism. So it came through Judaism, would be Paul. So Paul caused all to take the mark, that's the cross, and the image of a man is God, and the number of his name, which is our birth records, purposes of taxes, census, Rome. So it's much easier to have a date and purpose born on a date in order to lock it in. Yeah, that's what they did. That's what they did. That's what Paul did. He was a tax collector, of course he was. And when the Pharisees were after him, he was all Rome. And when Rome was after him, he was all Judah. So, yeah, he was a little sniveling. And I don't believe in it. No, because he usurped the living word. As a first fruit, he did. It's so easy for him to do that. So, the first fruit are the new sons of God. So he received a translation, but he was the stumbling block because he was too early. Yeah, it wasn't his time. He should have recognized that, but instead he usurped the living word. And so we're trapped in the dragon story, the Christ. That's who Paul received. He received of the dragon. So that's who we're dealing with. This is whose story we're dealing with. The beast, the false prophet, and the dragon. In truth, it's Christianity. Yeah. But the beast is swallowing up the water the flood sent after the woman by way of the dragon. And so it's becoming messianic. That's fascinating. No, I'm a bit too soon. We're all too soon. Why? Because we're at the beginning of the third day when that rock shall roll. Because the Lord is in the grave fulfilling 3 days. Certainly. Because as he's Mashiach ben David, Yeshua. He's not the Christ. The Christ is he who holds the scroll. Christ is he who sits upon the right hand. The Christ is whom John witnesses. And he weeps in heaven because he knows it's not the Lord and he knows it's not the Lamb. Now that's subject to who's the Lamb. Yeah. Well, we know that they suffered not to bury the body. So he's the first witness. as they rejoice and give unto each other gifts of the Spirit through baptism. Now they give the gifts of the Spirit through other means too. It's not always baptism as you receive the Spirit, but it's a religious spirit. Yeah, and it has to do with the cross, and it has to do with the name and the number of the name. Yeah, because that's what chapter 13 tells you. You didn't know that. No. How do you explain it? How do you explain it? Oh, you think it's just it's the vaccine. That's what that is. It's the vaccine. Well, no, it's not. I just sneezed. Okay, that's unusual. I don't usually sneeze unless I'm coughing. I didn't cough, but I took that anti-cough medication. Tessalon pearls, they call them. There's another name. It's a benzo. So I guess they don't want me to have it because it's addictive, but they shouldn't. They gave me three rounds of it so far, three refills. Yeah, but I can take them up to 3 times a day, so it's up to me. I can take it once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day. They asked me to stop, and then I started coughing. Well, what good is that? I don't want to cough up a lung. I don't want that damage. No, you don't want to damage, especially when it's healing. Yeah, this isn't removals. I guess they could do a lobectomy later. No, no, we're not doing any such thing. We're going to heal. So we were talking about the five, and the five upon the eight, which is the 13, and then we were talking about the 13. Now that's a door in itself. Yeah, chapter 13 is a door of wisdom. Certainly, here is wisdom. Let he who hath understanding recognize the number of the beast, for its human number. And its number is 666, and I have that number, so it's built into my birthday. It's built into my licenses. It's built into my life, without me recognizing it until these years, you know, maybe that's the leprosy they talk about, you know, having those sort of things cast upon you. When in fact, as crude as I can be, a very crude person, as crude as I can be, and it's only in my humor, yeah, in my environment that we all faced, but maybe not everybody understood it. Hmm. Yeah, that of the 80s and 90s. I mean, did anybody understand that? To be brought forth here in this new millennial platform where everything went high tech, and how they make money is beyond me, and the amount of money that they spend upon themselves is beyond me, and how it's distributed is beyond me. I mean, how they're playing this whole end of the world scenario, really. Kitty cat, don't walk on the computer. Okay. So, anyways, now this means that there's going to be four. The door is placed upon the day, so it's the door of the day. So um, you, the hand, which is the rule breaker, breaking the rule of time, which ultimately creates an opportunity. As the fours, as a career, as his work foundation, it's that which stands up. So it's an opportunity on the day by being a rule breaker, by breaking the rules that don't apply. And so there's a great change. So you can see how it's automatically changed. Death and freedom change. That which actually puts itself out as the traveler. Why? Because it's the hand. Stop, and it's the hand that stops, allows the person to break the rules, to change, to, to find freedom, or putting their hair in the wind, to travel. Yeah. That's why it's considered the traveler's number. Of course it would be. Yeah, because you need a hand. Yeah. So the four upon the day is because of that hand. So the movement upward, that which stands, that which stands out each day. Yeah. So the expression of the one becomes the hand. The expression of the two becomes the man. And so the four upon the two, of course. It's the only way to make a baby is to have that kind of door of two, which is six. Yeah, that's very interesting. I like the way the numbers work for me, even though they don't pay. There's no buying or selling. No, don't buy or sell God. No, we don't. And I don't accept that sort of thing. No. So I'm sure that in the real world wouldn't survive. That's a reality. So, anyways, I didn't say that. I didn't tell you that. Lost my sense of taste. So, I had pizza the other day. There's no flavor at all. I couldn't believe it. I'm trying to salt the poor thing. And Jeff's like, oh my God, Ron, it's already salty enough. And I had put garlic salt on the pizza, but I can taste it. Um, and then I realized that there's other things that I'm not really tasting properly. Water tastes like crap, but there's other things I just cannot taste. So it's kind of an adjustment. Yeah, I made a dish today, a Mexican dish, and again, and it's like with the salt, and it's like, oh no, 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 it's me. I can't taste it. Yeah, it's very difficult. So I can see how someone under the circumstances would um, lose their lose their sense of hunger, or want to eat, their desire. Can't taste it. Why eat it? But one thing that hasn't changed is chocolate. Because I like semi-sweet chocolate, and so it's not sweet, but it has this zing to it, this chocolate, this richness. Oh, so it's very hard for me not to reach for chocolate. Yeah, I think that's awesome. It's dark outside now. Maybe it's still open. So, anyways, I guess I chatted long enough. I just wanted to touch base. And what's that? Oh, it's just lights. And thank you for the seed offering and for the Zianthus. They're so beautiful. Have you looked at them? Yeah, they're very stunning. Now, they can be grown just like tobacco, where they're grown in a large setting where they come up like moss. They're so tiny of a seedling when they come up that they need each other to make like a moss. And then as they start to develop, then you realize they're individuals. And then you just pluck them out and then you know, individually pop them up. and they're very forgiving as far as potting, as far as the keeping, as long as they stay moist. And then I think I can do that since I have this grow lamp here. Yeah, I've done it before, and they're so beautiful. Once they establish, they usually overwinter for me. I had when I first moved in, I had one sitting out here in the front, but then I didn't get any seeds that year. And then I think I had a whole baggie full, and then they got distributed, and I never seen them again. So they they have to be cared for. I need to be careful. So I planted seedlings this time, flowers for new colors, and some cats got into a big fight right on top of the plants and just knocked them all down and just spilled them out, dumped them. So I have to reschedule them and replant some zinnias and things like that. But these are the cactus, yeah, the cactus type blooming, the big cactus type, zinnias, and so they should be very pretty. Yeah, I haven't had that type in a long time. That's the thing is that I love all the standards, but I'm not getting the cultivars because I don't have availability. Yeah, wish I could get the cultivars that are out there. Yeah, that's why I like Park Seeds and things like that. That'd be a great gift certificate or any other seed company because then they're showing you the latest and the greatest, and then you can introduce them into your garden. And usually, first year by seed is a little difficult, but once you establish them, then every generation after that believes that they're supposed to be here as long as you water. That's what I always say. You know, if you want it to grow, you have to water it here in the desert, and it's just a constant thing. So it's a battle, and it's expensive. Yeah, imagine you wouldn't know. And yet there's a well here. We need to tap into the well. I don't know why we can't, but just it would be the expense of buying the pump and then the reserve tank that holds pressure so that you can run constant. Because you wouldn't want to run the pump the whole time with water. It should be able to fill up and pressurize, which will allow the water to flow. I guess. Probably not. That would only be for household use, wouldn't it? So that you'd have the pressure on the lines. Yeah, you wouldn't want that, just the pump. Very strange. I'll have to open up the well and show you it one day. It's just an empty pipe in the ground. It's all concrete down there, but the side is broken because when they ditch witched the yard to do the gravel, the tractor was too heavy and it pushed the wall down. So on the inside. So I guess it's considered dangerous. So what isn't? What isn't? And what isn't broken purposely? I mean, my God, it's almost like demons just went out and purposely destroyed. Like demons are part of the whole Biden administration, and they just infiltrated our entire Congress for them to give our money away and to fill our lands with illegal criminals, criminals that do criminal activities. They are criminal, and the enemy was within. And I believe in what, like I said, retribution. That this has to be fixed. We cannot get away with it. And all the selling of shares you want to do and run off to Hawaii to build your little Bunkerville, well, it can be taken away from you just as easily as Epstein was, even though that's a little iffy. Yeah, considering where his holdings went and where that money was distributed, I think he's still alive. And that's why nobody's getting exposed. And Ghislaine was just an excuse. She's probably pissed off. listen to Hillary. Listen to her and the threats that she's making. She's so sick. Shut that woman down. There's a Scorpio that really needs to feel the brunt of this full moon in Scorpio. Hmm. Same with Charlo. Same with Biden. All Scorpios. Yeah, disturbing. I try not to do their numbers. I've done them before, and it's like gross. Leave it alone. Why bother? Why bother? So my hair won't grow back until I stop the immunotherapy, and so I think I have two more rounds of it. Could be only one. I'll have to ask. And if it's only one, then the next 21 days, when I start this up again, 17 days or so, it'll be the last. And then after that, I could just do chemo, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know. And that's what's approved. So it's a standard treatment form, I guess, that they have to follow. So I don't know. It's up to them how it works. So um, at any rate, thank you and bless you for your prayers and for your gifts and for your kindness. And all these things are real. And just like transformation, the transformation that I speak about, it's as real as can be. Certainly. Creationism is truth. It is. And yet those angels came down and mixed themselves with the daughters of men. And as a result, they were destroyed in a great flood. But what we discover is that when a creator destroys that which he creates, he destroys himself. So we're in consumption of the soul body as a parasite. So we're in the image for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. But we're a portion to a greater body still that fell. And yet the accuser stands there with the will. The Godfather is holding it all together because he coveted his own brother's creation, his own brother's wife. That's his creation. Yeah. So they come back together again. And we discover the fattened calf is mankind itself for the transformation, the harvest. And yet it's held for but a little while, so the dragon can learn his own lesson for all that he wants to hold. And we bind him by his own word, Christ. Sure, he has his own Bible. Yeah, and it has the Constitution in it. How interesting, because it's truth. And I'm glad that he's listening. Yeah, and it's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing that the child was born blue. The child was still born. The child was dead. And it's the dead who rise first. That's glorious. And he shall rule the nations with a rod of iron. Mhm. Irony. Okay, take care. Bye.